iPad, so I hope there is no sound in the background. I am reading Greene's The Comedians. This was published in 1966, and it is the story about three men. The comedians are Mr. Smith, the presidential candidate, or he was once, Mr. Jones, who calls himself Major Jones, and Mr. Brown, who tells the story, which plays in Haiti, in the corrupt Haiti under Papa Doc. We are here in the second part of this book, and it's chapter 3, and I'm in Roman 2. I had no wish to return to the Trianon, which was empty now of guests, and I had received no word from Martha all day. So I was drawn back to the casino as the nearest equivalent of a home. But it was a casino much changed since the night when I had met Martha. There were no tourists, and few residents of Port-au-Prince cared to venture out after dark. Only one roulette table was functioning, and only one player was seated there, an Italian engineer, whom I knew slightly, called Luigi. He worked with the erratic electricity plant. No private company could have kept a casino running under these conditions, and the government had taken it over. Now every night they made a loss, but it was a loss in goods, and the government could always print more. The croupier sat with a scowl on his face. Perhaps he wondered where his pay would come from. Even with 2 zeros, the chances in favour of the bank were too fine. With so few players, 1 or 2 losses en plein, and the bank would be down for the night. Winning, I asked Luigi. I'm 150 gourds up, he said. I haven't the heart to leave the poor devil. But on the next run he made another 15. Do you remember this place in the old days? No, I wasn't here then. They had tried to economize on the lighting, so we played in a cavernous obscurity. I played without interest, placing my tokens on the first column, and won also. The face of the croupier grew darker. I've got a good mind, Luigi said, to put all my winnings on red and give him a chance to recuperate. But you might win, I said. There's always the bar. They must make a good cut out of the drinks. We bought whiskies. It seemed too cruel to order rum, though whiskey was hardly wise for me on top of the dry martinis. Already I began to feel, why, if it isn't Mr. Jones, a voice called from the end of the salle, and I turned to see the purser of the Medea advancing on me with a damp and welcoming hand. You've got the red name wrong, I said. I'm Brown, not Jones. Breaking the bank, he asked jovially. It doesn't need much breaking. I thought you never ventured into town as far as this. I don't follow my own advice, he said, and winked. I went first to Mère Catherine, but the girl has got family troubles. She won't be there till tomorrow. Nobody else you fancied? I always like to eat off the same plate. How are Mr. and Mrs. Smith? They flew out today, disappointed. Ah, he should have come with us. Any trouble with the exit visa? We got it in 3 hours. I've never seen the immigration department and the police work faster. They must have wanted to be rid of him. Political trouble? I think the Ministry for Social Welfare found his ideas upsetting. We had a few more drinks, and I watched Luigi lose a few gourds for conscience sake. How's the captain? He longs to be off. He cannot endure this place. His temper will not be right until we are at sea again. And the man with the tin hat, did you leave him safely in Santo Domingo? I felt an odd nostalgia when I talked of my fellow passengers, perhaps because it was the last time that I had experienced a sense of security. The last time, too, I had possessed any real hope. I had been returning to Martha, and I had believed then everything might change. The tin hat? Don't you remember? He recited at our concert. Oh yes, poor fellow. We left him safely behind, all right, in the cemetery. He had a heart attack before we landed. We gave Baxter the tribute of 2 seconds silence, while the ball bounced and chinked for Luigi alone. He won a few more gourds and rose with a gesture of despair. And Fernandez, I asked, the black man who wept. He proved invaluable, the purser said. He knew all the ropes. He took charge of everything. You see, it turned out that he was an undertaker. The only thing which worried him was Mr. Baxter's faith. In the end, I put him in the Protestant cemetery because he found in his pocket a calendar about the future. Old something. Old Moore's Almanac. That was it. I wonder what the entry was for Baxter. I looked to see. It was not very personal. A hurricane was going to cause great damage. There would be a severe sickness in the royal family, and the price of steel shares would rise several points. Let's go, I said. An empty casino is worse than an empty tomb. Luigi was already cashing in his chips, and I did the same. The night outside was heavy with the usual storm. Have you got a taxi? I asked the purser. No, he wanted to be paid off. They don't like to stay around at night. I'll drive you to the ship. The lights across the playground flashed on and off and on. Je suis le troupeau Haitian, uni et indivisible. Francois Duvalier. The F had fused, so it read Francois Duvalier. We passed Columbus statue and came to the port and the Medea. A light shone down along the gangplank upon a policeman standing at the foot. There was a light shining, too, onto the bridge from the captain's cabin. I looked up at the deck, where I had sat watching the passengers reel by me on their morning rounds. In port, she was the only ship there, the Medea seemed oddly dwarfed. It was the empty sea which gave the little boat her pride and magnitude. Our footsteps ground upon coal dust, and the taste of grit lodged between our teeth. Come on board for a last drink. No, if I did, I might want to stay. What would you do then? The captain would ask to see your exit visa. That fellow would ask first, I said, looking at the policeman who stood at the foot of the gangplank. Oh, he's a good friend of mine. The purser mimicked the action of a man drinking and pointed towards me. The policeman grinned back. You see, he has no objection. All the same, I said, I won't come up. I've mixed too many drinks tonight, and yet I lingered on the plank. And Mr. Jones, the purser asked, what has become of Mr. Jones? He's doing well. I liked him, the purser said. For a man of such ambiguity, whom we all trusted so little, Jones had a knack of winning friendship. He told me he was Libra, a birthday in October, so I looked him up. In Old Moor? What did you find? An artistic temperament, ambitious, successful in literary enterprises. But as for the future, I could find only an important press conference by General de Gaulle and electrical storms in South Wales. He tells me he's about to make a fortune of $250,000. A literary enterprise? Hardly that. He invited me to be his partner. So, you will be rich too? No, I refused. I used to have dreams of making a fortune. Perhaps I'll be able to tell you one day about the travelling art gallery. It was the most successful dream I ever had, but I had to get out quick, and so I came here and found my hotel. Do you think I'd give up that security? You think the hotel is a security? It's the nearest I've ever come to it. When Mr. Jones is a rich man, you will be sorry you did not give up that kind of security. Perhaps he'll lend me enough to carry on with my hotel until the tourists return. Yes, I think he is a generous man in his way. He gave me a very large tip, but it was in Congo currency and the bank wouldn't change it. We shall be here till tomorrow night at least. Bring Mr. Jones to see us. The lightning began to play over the slopes of Pétionville. Sometimes a blade quivered in the ground long enough to carve out of the dark the shape of a palm or the corner of a roof. The air was full of coming rain, and the low sound reminded me of voices chanting the responses at school. We said good night. So that was the end of part 2. Now comes part 3, and I'll read that another time. Did I say today is October the 13th?